On the show today, Susan talks about forgiveness. We forgive you, Susan. Our symbol today is revolution, and as always, we interpret the dreams you sent in during the week and answer your questions. Welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about dreams, guidance and healing. I'm Michael Sheridan, and with me in studio is Heidi Brooke, our resident medium.
Hello.
And Susan Pullen, shamanic healer and life coach. I have old wording here, Susan.
It's okay. I'm still those things. So it's all good.
Thanks to everyone who sent dreams to RadioShow at dream-analysis.com. Please continue to send them in, as we always need them for the show. You can always jump the queue and call us on 425-373-5527, and we will analyse your dream, connect with your guides for advice, or you can call with questions for Susan about healing and changing old patterns in your life. Remember, we have a 3-day workshop on March 4th, 5th and 6th. The three of us are involved in that, and you can get details about that on dream-analysis.com. And for anybody who's been trying to get the information over the last couple of days, apologies. The website was down. Thank you very much, West Host. It was due to a DNS misconfiguration somewhere in the bowels of their organisation. But it's sorted out now. It just came back online this morning. So they've gotten off lightly compared to what I could have said. Okay, so Susan, you're going to talk about forgiveness after the break.
Yes.
Excellent. And we're going to, will we start off with dreams, Heidi, or do you want to take a call?
Sure, I'll take a call.
Okay, we have Lisa with a question for Heidi about guides.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, good morning. Hi. Okay, so I work with my guides, and I'm a healer, but I can't hear them all the time, and so I'm wondering if you can tell me, is that available to me, and what can I do to enhance that?
And before you asked that question, they were talking about your diet. Do you struggle with your diet at all?
I'm working on it right now.
Okay, good. Because the blockages are just, it's a physiological block. So eating very clean, pure foods that don't have toxins, food that's not processed. I'm seeing as well, do you have a digestive tract issue?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and that has to do with it too. And so it's not that they're not communicating with you, it's just that you're not hearing it, and it's not it's not because this isn't a good time for you to hear them or anything. It's just simply because your body needs to be top notch as well in order for you to continue communication with them.
Okay.
So continue doing what you're doing. And I'm seeing as well is lemon juice. Are you taking lemon juice?
I do.
Yeah, so continue taking that, and it's going to clear and heal your digestive tract, and that should help you.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call. Yeah, it's funny how certain foods can inhibit your connection, isn't it? I had that recently. Figured out it was a food, and it turned out to be Kellogg's Frosties.
The sugar.
I don't know. No, regular sugar wasn't as bad, but whatever's in that.
Just the particular food.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that when I eat processed beef is a big one for me.
So you were talking about eating food without toxins and like healthy food. So where do you get this foreign food?
PCC. Susan's house is good for it.
Yeah, it's true.
That's true, yeah. Okay. So, let's have a look at some of your dreams. And I'm jumping the gun because our theme this week is forgiveness. We could just jump into that if you want, Susan.
Let's do some dreams first.
Okay.
And then
So
we'll get in the mood.
So here's a lovely dream. It says, I dreamt I was attending a wake, and when I went to view the body, it was a man covered with fish and ice, almost like a fish market. All I could see was his left eye and a corner of his forehead. This part looked like it was rotting or decaying. I started to cry. I don't remember the rest of the dream. I think it was mostly random stuff. What does this mean? I'm very disturbed by it, and I'm sure you were very disturbed by that, horrible looking. But dreams of funerals are very straightforward. It asks you to let the negative effects of somebody die. So here, because we don't know who the man is, maybe you do, it would be about the man specifically if you knew who the man was, Otherwise, you look at the order of importance. Who are the most important males in your life? And the most important is going to be your dad. So it's not about letting all the influence of your dad go, but it's about letting go of just the negative stuff that would be around him. And we all have positives and negatives. And this is holding you back spiritually, which is what the fish is about too. And the keeping it on ice and it's decaying. Like, think about this image. It's like you're holding onto a body, or somebody's holding onto a body. Of course, the dream externalizes it for you, but it's really you. Somebody's holding onto something that should have been buried, dealt with a long time ago. And so this is saying that you need to, I picked this dream out because of forgiveness. So it's to do
see it now.
Forgiveness and letting go. And of course, that's easy to say, but Susan's going to talk about the process involved in that. And for people with dreams like this, a lot of the time it's so far in the past that we think, oh, well, it doesn't affect me anymore. But it does. It still affects us. And maybe you're going to cover points on that too, are you, Susan?
Yes.
Okay. Well, now that you've been pushed into it. Okay, thanks for that dream. That was Melinda. So here's another dream. It's called Flying Manta Rays. In my dream, I'm in a house that I'm sharing with my mother. I'm trying to do laundry and picking things up around the house. I go towards my son's room and see that there is a large TV next to his bedroom door, which is a large sliding glass door, so it's good that it's glass door, and the TV is turned on. That's also good. I think he probably left the TV on so there would be some light in his room during the night. In my dream, my son is younger, maybe 8 or 9 years old. I realize I need to get him up and get him ready because the school bus has arrived. I walk outside and see that the bus is empty, but the driver is standing next to the bus. The driver is the actor Henry Winkler from the 70s TV show Happy Days. She's pushing all the right buttons with the symbols here. The number 7, Happy Show, the TV being on, etc. I'm delighted to see him, but very surprised that he is now the school bus driver. I give him a hug. We are talking when we realize that there is a commotion nearby and we look to see people pointing towards the sky. We look up and we see giant manta rays flying among the clouds, silhouetted against the prettiest blue sky. I stand there watching them for a while, totally in awe, and wondering how they went from the ocean to the sky. Okay, so this dreamer has been working on her male side for some time and cut the ties with her dad and then cut the ties with her next stepdad and then her next stepdad and then an ex-partner. So a lot of work done by this dreamer on male side. And the whole thing is about it's showing that her male power is returning because we have her son, because he's not the age he is now, he's 8 or 9 in the dream. It's connecting her back to that age in her life and to her male side at that stage. And I asked the dreamer and she said it was when they made a particular move, changed location, and everything was really, really good for her. She loved the school that she was going to at the time. She loved the location and life was just great. So it's bringing her there to show her that this is a healing thing for that. And what else have we got in it? The manta ray. I really love that pun. The word man being in it and then the ray. So it's the male ray or male energy. So it's all working about male energy coming from above. And it's showing the strength in it with the manta rays. They're absolutely gigantic. I never actually knew that. I thought, they're just like a stingray, but they're absolutely gigantic. And so what else have we got? We've got the bedroom door and it's open. That's also very good. The glass and the TV. So that says the dreamer is a psychic, has a strong connection with her higher self. Also, she's a channel because the TV is on, so she's clairvoyant. So it's saying that now they're female energy gifts, but her ability to bring this to the outside world is going to really be helped by the fact that she's worked on her male energy. And the 70s show saying she's a spiritual path, and Henry Winkler, of course, being from Happy Days, it shows that this is all really positive. This is all from here on in. It's really good. A lot of people think that because you're in the spiritual field, you have an immediate connection or an ease with getting into things, and that isn't the case. It's just like any other business you try to take off. It can be difficult to get it going, and you can certainly question yourself like this dreamer. But here it's saying, the days for that are gone, and it's really going to move forward in a very surprising way for you, but very, very positive. And you're really going to be able to show people substance, something of substance, because you're pointing, you're looking at these giant manta rays flying among the clouds, and they come from the deepest part of the oceans. So it's saying that you're going to help people see their deepest spirituality, and that's really something. That's quite a lot. So, any points? You look like you want to jump in there, Susan.
Yeah, I was just noticing the manta rays are up in the sky, so she's gonna be looking up at it.
Yes, looking positively at it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a trick dreams use. It's great. Good for pointing that out. That anything above eye level is something that your dreams want you to look up to, and of course, making it up so high in the sky is really showing we want you to view your male side in a very positive way. Now, we all have male and female energy, but if you've had some very difficult relationships with dad, or with a non-existent dad, and then with a difficult stepfather, then it's understandable how you can have you can develop difficulty with trusting and appreciating that there is a positive side to male energy. But anyway, you've done the work, so it's all really good.
It feels like her confidence is really going to pick up now too, because Fonzie, like, he's a very cool, confident character, right?
Yes.
And I love that he's just standing there ready to, like, drive her, like, her son, but, you know.
Yeah, so it's her.
Yeah.
So it's really showing that, okay, everything in your dream ideally would be your age. So when you see the son is 8 or 9, it's saying that you've now connected back with this really good time where you felt positive and confident. And confidence is a male energy trait. And now it's time to take that to school. So it's really, you're going to grow this, and of course not over years, but very quickly. This is now going to be a fun part, because you're going to be learning about the positive sides to your male energy. And you're also a healer, which I don't know if you've ever used that ability before, but I've seen it in other dreams. So that's something that will most likely come on in spades after this dream.
Cool.
Alrighty. So our next dream is called Patterns in the Ocean. I am sitting on the ocean. I'll just give the number again, 425-373-5527 for anybody who wants to call. 425-373-5527, and we'll do your dream now, or we will talk to your guides or talk about other things. So it's called Patterns in the Ocean. I'm sitting on the shore of the Pacific Ocean and looking out onto the water. There is a pod of blue whales swimming before me. So this tells us straight away it's about channeling. I'm fascinated by their size. I watch them for the entire day, and the sun sets. Okay, the sun setting isn't really great. There is now a full moon in the sky. The full moon is about the dreamer's psychic ability, so strong connection with her higher self. I stand up and jump and fly to the moon. When I get to the moon, I look back onto the earth. The earth is turned so I see almost all of the Pacific Ocean, and she sent me a picture. And I didn't even know there was a view of the earth that's like this, where you're almost looking completely at water. So this is saying the dream is a focus on the spiritual, and it's like the other dream. And of course, this is keeping in theme along with our theme this week about forgiveness and letting go. And the previous dreamer did all the work on forgiving and letting go of issues with a whole raft of males in her life. And this dreamer has been doing the same work with her dad. So we see positive things coming as a result of it. But here, the dream is focusing on the spiritual, because that's the side of the earth that is facing you. And as you look at the water, I see the animals in the water creating various patterns, kind of like the dancers in a Busby Berkeley movie. I had to look that up. I had to look up a lot of things people send in. Some of the shapes are very geometric, others are spirals or swirls, and others are abstract. And you know what was funny about the Busby Berkeley thing? I thought, I've never heard of that. And yet when I looked it up and saw the pictures, I go, oh yeah, I've seen black and white movies where all the dancers do these type of things, So it's all geometric shapes while they're dancing. The patterns can only be seen from a great distance, and they're very faint and subtle. So this is the message to you. That things can only be seen from a great distance, from a higher perspective, because this is where you are. You're up on the moon, and they're very faint and subtle. I sit on the moon and watch the patterns changing, and Archangel Michael comes and sits beside me. He takes out his flaming sword and points it towards the earth. When he does that, the patterns seem to brighten and light up. Now, I didn't know Archangel Michael. I looked up the name, and my name is Michael, but I didn't know this. And it means, at least in Archangel's case, it's he who is like God. So I will take that as a compliment too. And all of the Michaels out there, Raise your stool. So, okay. It's really good for you because Archangel Michael obviously is male and shown a very positive male. But he uses this flaming sword and everything lights up and you ask, are they on fire? No, he replies, but their internal fire is heightened and stronger and now you can see them better. So it's all about you, of course. And it's saying now through working on your male side, what the dream is telling you is you have a part to play along with other people who are here working on deepening people's spirituality. And you're part of a choreographed group is really the way to look at it. So it's not all on your head, but the dream says you can see the higher picture, even though you don't have to play every part. You can see the higher picture that does involve other people. And that's quite interesting. So if you've been taking on too much weight, it's quite a good one there. I rest my head on his shoulder and continue watching the now brighter patterns. When I touch him, everything feels easier and I feel stronger. So, of course, male side is showing the strength coming back to you and ease with which you can do things. Male energy is also about belief in yourself and feeling entitled to do things, feeling worthy of the space you occupy. So very much helps in career. Now you understand it better, he says. And I do. We continue watching for a while and then we both stand up. He embraces me and kisses the top of my head. So have I just read a dream or have I done any analysis in that? It feels like I've just read a dream. So yeah, focus on the spiritual. Male energy coming in strong is going to make things a lot easier for you going forward. And so you're reaping the benefits of the work that you've done. And it's saying use your strong intuitive ability, like sit on the moon. That's your strong intuitive ability to see things from a higher perspective and realize that it's not on you to do everything. You have a part in the dance. So we're going to take a break now and back with you in a moment. You're listening to So You Think You're Awake. Hi, I'm Michael Sheridan and I'm here to tell you about my new book. In 1990, I had a spontaneous awakening and the veil between the physical world and the spirit world was lifted for me. I didn't believe in the spirit world, but that no longer mattered. I was looking at it. My new sight didn't give me answers, but it opened my mind enough to begin asking questions. It would ultimately lead me to discover that the spirit world is always involved in everything we do. My book reveals what I learned about the spirit world as I stumbled through my journey, and is titled My Journey to Awakening, and is now available on Amazon for Kindle and in paperback. My Journey to Awakening by Michael Sheridan.
How clear is your vision for your life? Are you living on purpose, bringing your dreams to reality? I can help you to hear the quiet voice of your heart, guiding you in the right direction. I'm Susan Pullen with True Radiance Healing Arts. Let's talk about how you can create the life you want and be the person you were born to be. Contact me today at true-radiance.com.
Hello, this is Heidi. How can I help you?
You tell me. You're the psychic.
That's not how it works. I am a medium. I connect to your spirit guides and loved ones and pass on their messages to you.
So why did I call? Use the force, Heidi.
Look, I can get answers to any questions you ask. That's not a problem. They can be about anything: relationships, career, children, finances, anything.
Anything? Okay. What's my favorite color?
Dave, your mom says you're being childish.
For readings with Heidi, go to angelsontheline.com.
Have you considered adding a chanting component to your spiritual practice, but you're not quite sure what to sing? Or when you start singing, sometimes your throat starts hurting? I would love to help. Please join me, Nadia Tarnowski, for an open chanting class that will begin on Thursday, February 11th at 7:30 p.m. Classes will meet every other Thursday. Please come whenever you feel called. Go to www.sacredcompassion.com for more information. All are welcome.
Radio for your body, mind, and spirit. Alternative Talk, 1150.
Welcome back to So You Think You're Awake with Michael Sheridan, Heidi Brooke and Susan Pullen. Our show is about dreams, guidance and healing. Our phone number is 425-373-5527 if you have a dream-related question, or you want to connect with your guides for advice through Heidi, or you can call with questions for Susan about healing and changing old patterns in your life. Once again, the number is 425-373-5527. And we go to the phones now. We have Jackie with a dream. Hello, Jackie.
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Great. So what's your dream?
I had a dream this morning. So I'm going to Japan in a couple of months, and I had a dream this morning that I was in a particular temple that's there. I can't remember the Japanese name, but it's called the Golden Pavilion, and the outside of the dream is all gold. And I was in the dream, I was inside of it, and I was aware that I was there, and I kept asking myself, why am I inside and I'm not outside looking at the beautiful gold color? And that's all I remember.
Okay, and I'm going to let Heidi answer this one because you threw me, because we know this, Jackie, but you don't live in Philadelphia.
I don't, but I'm calling from Philadelphia today.
So that was the way you threw us.
Jackie, was there anything in particular that you noticed about the inside of the temple?
I was sitting, it was all wood on the inside, and I was sitting and looking out. The shoji screens were open, and I could look out and see the gardens. So I could see the gardens outside, but there was nobody else in there that I saw. I just remember thinking, why am I sitting inside here when I could be outside looking at this beautiful building?
Okay. Do you have something, Heidi?
This is a healing dream. That's all I'm hearing.
Yeah, well, gold's a healing color.
And I think it's healing for your digestive system. I'm picking up on that, but it's also a protection dream. And I have something to do with old life protections, like calling on the healing of old life protections.
Oh.
But it's definitely a healing dream. Like there's healing happening in this dream.
And it's okay to be.
That.
It's okay to be on the inside of a temple, by the way. Yeah.
So I didn't think it was a bad thing, but it's so pretty from the outside. I was missing that.
Yeah, but it's about being centered and inwardly focused, rather than being concerned about appearance. So it's really good. But gold is a really good color. It's an unusual color to see in dreams, and it's a difficult color to even hold in a meditation. So it is very protective. If you're trying to do a protect your aura, you will visualize gold. But because a lot of people can't visualize gold, you'll pick other colors like blue.
I think I'm also hearing now because you can channel. Have you been wary of when you're traveling if you would pick up old things to do with old lifetimes or old, just any kind of entities?
Yeah, not so much old lifetimes, but yeah, I'm always aware. There's been several times I've been in, I travel a lot for my work, and I've been in hotels, and I don't see spirits, but I can hear them and I can feel them. And so I'm always aware that they're around. And especially, when you travel, you're picking up everybody else's energy most of the time anyway, unless you're very aware of holding your protections in place. But
so this dream is completely protecting you for your Japan trip. So you're 100% covered.
She really just phoned to brag that she's going to Japan.
I want to go too.
Yeah.
How big is your suitcase?
Oh, well, thank you, everyone, for all that guidance. I really appreciate it. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, have a good day.
You too, Jackie.
All right, so we're going to do forgiveness.
Yeah, so let's see. Okay, this is something that comes up in dreams.
A lot.
When we feel wronged by something, well, first of all, I want to just acknowledge off the top that it's not always easy to forgive someone or to, like people talk about, just let it go, right?
Yes.
But
and I was joking earlier. I was saying when people say that, I want to go find a baseball bat because the words are very easy to say, but their difficulty is always, I don't even know I'm holding on to this.
Yeah.
And so if I don't know I'm holding on to it, how do I let it go? And now, of course, you may know in some cases because you may know how it's affecting you, but you still don't know how you're holding on to it.
Yeah. So I also want to acknowledge that when we feel wronged or hurt in some way, it's natural to feel hurt, to feel resentment, to feel anger, or even rage come up. And in some cases, a boundary may have been breached. And those feelings like anger can inspire us to reset our boundaries in a healthy way. And that initial emotional response can be a really helpful and really healthy one. So this isn't about like not ever getting angry or anything like that. Please.
Oh, so I have permission. You hear that, Sandy? Susan said.
Yeah, but then there are sometimes that we hang on to those emotions. And sometimes we do it deliberately. Like, I think it feels like it's a protection for us. Like if we hang on to that anger or resentment or whatever it is, it'll protect us from getting hurt in that way in the future, either in a similar situation or by that same person. And so it's like we deliberately kind of feed that, those feelings. We keep them alive by like replaying the incident or like, you know, telling ourselves how wrong it was, you know, things like that. We do those things to keep us in that state, holding those emotional states.
Yeah, I'm only nodding vigorously because I know a friend who does this. No, it's not me. But it is interesting though that you say anger can be appropriate. At times, and the at times, of course, is important. Yeah.
I think the thing is that, you know, just like stress, you know, in some cases it's adaptive and healthy, right? But when we hang on to any emotion, even a positive one, when we really deliberately hang on to it, it's not healthy anymore. Like our emotions are meant to move through us and to inspire us in a certain direction. Sometimes we need to take a certain action, and it's good for us to follow through on that. But it's not good to just hang on to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so actually I did a little Google search to see if there was any research on forgiveness and unforgiveness and the impact on health. And actually there is quite a bit of research on the detrimental health effects. And I think a lot of it has to do with stress. It's very stressful and it's exhausting emotionally and psychically to maintain that distance from that person and from life. I think we really have to kind of like close ourselves off from the natural flow of love and life.
And this is like, so what you're saying is if somebody has bothered you in some way, holding on to, keeping them at a distance is using your energy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I think it does. And I'm not saying, I mean, if someone has wronged you, you don't need to invite them back into your life.
That's
you
true.
You can forgive them and still not welcome them back into your life.
Absolutely. And they can be long deceased.
Absolutely.
And you're still carrying the burden of that, whatever the negative thing was.
Yeah.
So it's nothing to do with their physical presence.
Right.
It's what you're still carrying within you.
Yeah. And it could even be like with sometimes we see this with childhood stuff, right? That there was something that happened in childhood that we're still hanging on to, even though our relationship with that person, you know, years or decades later, it's shifted. And so our relationship now, you know, we're not like actively angry at them in the context of the relationship now, but we still have those feelings from childhood.
Yeah, that's huge in dreams. And an awful lot of your dreams will bring you back to childhood. If you've got issues there, they'll bring you back to childhood. And if I frequently get with people, when you say, okay, you have issues with your dad or issues with your mom, they always point out, well, we get on great now. And it's not the now that the dream is talking about. It's talking about how your whole philosophy of life was shaped by certain events that lasted for years or certain behaviors that lasted for years. And these don't necessarily need to be traumatic or anything like that, but just they still shaped you because of the way your parent was. And they still shape you today, and you don't cure that by making, by being friends with somebody again. You have to actually do something to route that out and let it go. Right. There's that phrase. Let it go.
Well, and some people talk about like, forgive and forget, and it's not about that either. Like it's not about forgetting. You don't have to forget. You can learn from this.
That's true. Therapies don't ask you to condone.
Yeah.
But what's really, I find remarkable, that anybody who's ever done it will be able this will resonate with them. When you do forgive somebody, you think you're actually initially letting them go so that they can move forward. But the real person who benefits is you. You are immediately lightened from a burden that you didn't even know you were carrying.
Yeah.
It's quite remarkable.
Yeah. And that's the part that I think is kind of ironic, is that we hang on to those feelings because we think it will protect us from harm. But in fact, it harms us hanging on to them. Yeah. I found a quote from Nelson Mandela in my travels. Resentment is like a glass of poison that a man drinks. Then he sits down and waits for his enemy to die.
That's fantastic.
I know. I love that. So I think also sometimes we hang on to, like, especially feelings of anger or rage, because it feels like there's a power in that for us. Like we feel powerful in that energy. But I think, in fact, we have more power coming from a place of internal peace. Like, when you're really angry, I know for me, I don't always communicate very clearly. And we don't think very clearly when we're in that really emotional, hurt, resentful kind of a state. So I think we're in a more powerful place when we can come from an internally calm state. We communicate better and we think better and we can make better decisions. Like our frontal cortex works better.
And the energy flow within us is much better.
Right. And our intuition is better too. So when we think about like protecting ourselves from, say, getting into a relationship with someone who's similar to someone that we were in a relationship before, we really want our intuition on board here, right? But an angry state is not a very receptive state for intuition.
That's a good point. If you deal with issues from the past, it will stop you picking a partner with the same patterns as your previous partners, because there's a karmic reason that you pick them. Like you pick a partner that has traits that push buttons that one of your parents installed, and you're just going to do that because that's what you're here in your life to do, is realize that you have these things that trigger you and work through those and let them go. And quite often that requires forgiveness. But a lot of the forgiving is forgiving yourself for holding on to these things.
Excuse me,
for too long.
Yeah.
And you talk about anger and hurt. So, like, just to emphasize, it doesn't have to be anger. It can be a lot of sadness. It can be any emotional state that clouds your clarity. But sometimes you don't know it's clouding your clarity.
And when it's pointed out, sometimes I see people that will blame that emotion on another person, like remove ownership from it, so they don't have to deal with it.
But sometimes people are ready. Like they've already done a lot of work and they're ready. And once they know this is where it's from, it is easy enough for them to say, okay, well, next time I'm in this similar type of situation, I'm going to realize that and I'm going to not let it happen. So sometimes it's easy to work through.
When it's pointed out,
Yeah. But I think, Heidi, to what you said, like even our language about emotions, like, we would commonly say, like, he made me angry. But like we
instead of I became angry.
Right. So we kind of sometimes give our power away in that. Like we're really unconsciously saying that person can control my emotions.
And I've seen too, when people realize that, they do own their emotions and this is coming from within them, it is easier to let go of. Sometimes that's all they need too, is to take responsibility for their own emotions.
Do you have exercises or tool sets that you use to help people do this forgiving and letting go?
Yeah, I do. I have a number of them. And I know that for some people doing cutting the ties, they get forgiveness is kind of one of the benefits that comes out of that. I know it's not all about that, but
yeah, that definitely works.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. That's the problem most people have is, okay, what do I do? Where do I begin? And why should I? Of course, now we've covered the why, because it really removes things that cloud your judgment.
Yeah.
And that affects you in every aspect of life.
I think that our emotions naturally want to move. And so I think really the biggest thing that makes a difference for people is to start by giving themselves permission to let it go. Like giving themselves permission this to move and to move on. And it could be that there was some action that needed to be taken that hasn't been taken yet. And so, there may be an outward conversation that needs to happen, but maybe not. But I think giving yourself permission for it to move on when the time is right is a big first step. And then let's see, what else? Ho'oponopono is another. So with Ho'oponopono, again, you're taking responsibility for your feelings and for the fact that you're holding yourself apart from life and from love when we're in a resentful state or when we're hanging on to those emotions. And so the process of Ho'oponopono is about bringing ourselves back in alignment with the divine and with love and with the natural flow of love and life that wants to move through us. So the process is just simply connecting with the divine, holding the situation in your mind, and saying, really you're saying to the divine, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I have these feelings. I'm sorry that I'm holding myself apart from you. Please forgive me. I love you. And thank you. And again, it's directed toward the divine.
And that's what that phrase means in its language, isn't it?
Ho'oponopono, it means to set things right.
Okay.
Yeah. And so this is really a process for you. It does benefit the other person in some ways.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's for you.
Yeah. But it's really about bringing you back into alignment with feeling good. So, yeah. So Michael, will you add a few things about how, when our dreams are asking us to forgive something, how that might show up?
Well, like the dream we had earlier, so dreams of a funeral are asking you to let something go, saying you really need to let this go. It's so not meant to be in your life. You need to find a grave and bury it. and of course, it's going to be about that particular person or about somebody of the same gender. The number 2 in dreams, I always say it's about channeling, but it's also about forgiving and letting go. It's the first female energy number, and that's all about listening, compassion, and letting go. It can also be about relationships, but I suppose you could say almost all your dreams are about letting go of something. Let go of fear. They're always pointing out your fears, things that you're afraid to take on, whether that's that you have abilities, extraordinary abilities, and we have a dream from somebody that, if we get to it today, is about that. So it's not always something negative we're letting go of, other than the fact that we're afraid to acknowledge that there's something very positive about ourselves that we can do. But I don't think I've did your talk justice with that, but we'll point it out in some more dreams as we go forward.
Great.
All right, so we have April on the line. We say hello to April in Ohio. Hi, April.
Hello. Hi, Michael. How are you?
Very good. You have a dream.
Good. I've been listening. Do you mind if I speak on forgiveness just a tiny bit? Because I've been listening like a kid in the classroom wanting to hold her hands up, like I want to. I just read the book that you recommend in the books that you've written, the Grand Design, and I just finished the 4th book, and he said, I think in the 4th one, that when we forgive, and maybe it was the 1st one, but it doesn't matter. When we forgive, it's really important that we're actually forgiving ourselves for creating, shame, or like if something terrible happens in your childhood, and you tell yourself that you're not good enough or whatever, that you really forgive yourself as well for putting that on yourself, your divinity, because we're all unconditional love and all that.
Yeah.
Very good. Totally in alignment.
Yeah. Thanks, April.
Yeah. Okay, so I had a dream 2 nights ago, and it was about taking a destination cruise, and it stopped in Ireland. And while I was there, I had a friend give me a dream to analyze, and I analyzed it, and I knocked it out of the park. I can't remember what the dream was, but she was really
of course, yeah.
Of course. And she's this really wholesome, like goes hiking, bakes bread, grows sunflowers kind of person. So I was in Ireland, and I was visiting her, analyzing her dream, and then I was visiting another friend in Ireland, and the cruise ship called me, and they're like, "Are you going to get back on?" Because they were getting ready to leave, and I'd missed all of these destination ports or something. So I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to get back on the cruise." I thought that it would be cheaper to take the cruise to Ireland rather than, I don't know what, I thought I was going to be saving money by just taking the cruise ship there, and I realized that I was missing out on things, and I was actually wasting money by being in one place for such a long time. And I realized I didn't have as many clothes with me. I wasn't going to have anything to wear to, a formal dinner on the cruise. I didn't have my ID and my passport, but I did have or I didn't know where it was, but I had a college ID when I was an educator in a college, and I had this ID, and I had 2 sweaters on in the picture, one brown and one black, and I ended up rushing back to the cruise, but I didn't know what it meant to be. Didn't know what I was.
Okay, so the different destination points, they're a reminder that you have different destinations, different callings in life, you could say, and you. Here it's saying, because you're saying you didn't have all the clothes for all the different things that you wanted to do, it's saying that you're hard on yourself for different roles or different attitudes that you feel you need to have towards whatever it is you're addressing. So it's actually not having the clothes in the dream is good, even though it may have seemed like it wasn't good, because it's saying, no, just come as you are. And that's really the spiritual message in an awful lot of things, to be yourself regardless of where life takes you, and don't change to suit others. Like the formal dinner would be definitely about changing to suit others. I have to play by their rules and dress by their rules and that. So it's saying, be yourself, and people will either accept you or they won't accept you, but you're to continue to be yourself. Now, you have friends in Ireland, do you?
I lived there for 2 years, and I have friends that are still, one friend that's still there. The other girl isn't, but she was there.
Okay, so Ireland will mean something specific to you. So what went on when you were in Ireland? How did you feel? It's most likely going to be about the feeling or what you learned about yourself while you were in Ireland. And you don't have to tell us on the air, but do if
right,
you...
okay.
Do if you know what it is.
I do. I was 21 when I moved, and I was pretty green still, and I thought I would be. It turned into a major depression once I arrived, and I overcame that, I guess, over the 2 years. But I was used to living in the country, and then I moved to the city. I was used to having sunny days, and then I was, there were lots of rainy days. So, and of course, having my support group. So there were lots of things there that I felt.
But was it positive for you overall? If you overcame depression, that sounds like a positive. You grew, you learned something.
Yeah, overall, yeah, it was definitely. And the people that I met there were beautiful people.
Excellent.
But in the dream, I had a second part of the dream that also had to do with the cruise. And there were like eggs in a buffet, and I was disappointed that I was missing all of the beach destination points.
Okay.
Does that mean?
So Heidi's going to jump in here and say something about it, because she was getting stuff on it too.
I was just going to say that the eggs do represent your reproductive system. So you've made a change when it comes to your reproductive cycle somehow. I'm going to assume it's a birth control or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just talking about that, and it'll say specifically in the dream whether that's a good match for you or not physiologically. So can you remember anything else about the eggs in the dream?
Well, it started off, I was disappointed that I was missing all the beach days on the cruise. So someone had posted a picture of there was breakfast on the beach, and I ran to go get breakfast on the beach, and they were running out of, there was a cave overhang. The buffet was there. And all I remember was that we were running out of, there weren't very many eggs. I think I was serving myself eggs, but it was kind of low. I was kind of there towards the end of the buffet. Breakfast.
That sounds okay to me based on
just means you're not, so whatever birth control you're on, it means you're not ovulating. But also reproductive cycle it's important for women when it comes to spirituality, in that it helps us connect. And I think the dream is reminding you that you're missing connections as well here, destinations, because you are inhibiting your reproductive cycle.
No, what is that? What kind of connection?
Well, it just didn't, we can ground ourselves better as women during our cycle, and we can connect with our guides. It's a heightened sense of awareness at certain phases of our cycle, like when we're menstruating and things like that. And so, it's a tool to be used. And obviously, if you're taking birth control, it's a tool that you don't have on hand right now. It's just talking about that. I mean, it's not. I don't see any health warning or anything like that.
No.
Towards the end of the dream, I found these black posts. You know, when you hang adjustable shelves, sometimes they're these black triangular-looking things that the shelf will rest on. I found black posts in the mud at a friend's house, and I was really, I was like, oh, there's my black post.
That's your elimination system in that for sure. So the buffet is also reminding you that what you eat affects you. But we're going to have to leave it there, April. But thanks very much for the call. I hope that was good for you.
Very helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. And we have Sherry in Calgary. Hello, Sherry.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
And it says you have a question for Heidi.
Hi, Sherry.
Yeah, primarily for Heidi, but if anyone wants to chime in, that's fine. It's about cutting the ties. I think everybody knows there that I'm trying to finish cutting the ties with my dad.
Oh, yeah.
And Heidi had gotten a message that to wait 2 weeks, and I waited 3 because I got very sick in the meantime. But I just thought I would check in.
That's probably why you were supposed to wait. Because it's not. I don't know if it's necessarily something we want to do or start anyway. If you're starting off with a new
finishing,
person.
so it's about finishing cutting the ties with her dad.
Oh, it's finishing. All right.
So can I remind her or should I remind you? I don't,
just
don't
let's see
put
what they
words
say.
in your head.
But whatever it is you're going to do, I feel like the illness was related to it.
That would be releasing.
Yeah. So that was like a lot of shedding and of the old attitudes and feelings, negative feelings. And I'm getting descriptions of what the illness was, but I'm not going to say it on air. But
yeah, that's okay. I have no shame. It was a lot of my. Well, I don't. It was a lot of my digestion issues that I had to clear up.
That's what I was seeing. And I know the person you're cutting the ties with, the health issues related to that, the digestive system. And so it's just completely clearing it out. And I'm feeling, I definitely feel like it is a good time still to do it. How long should it take? I'm getting that you have like 3 days or so.
Okay, when you finish, you have 3 days after that. So if she's ready to finish now,
I think you should do it like today.
Oh, great.
Because the energy and the timing is important too.
Oh, okay.
So when was your illness over? When did it end?
Well, I'm about 95% healthy again.
Yeah.
But this is my first kind of good week that I've been healthy. Yeah, because
you have to start it while you're like right at the end of that illness. Is what they want you to do.
Can I be greedy and ask one more question?
Of course.
Heidi, can you check in to see if like a lot of developments have been happening around like my career, and I want a general checkup to see if I'm making the right decisions and on the right path here.
You've begun to make the right decisions. It says it's so. I guess your rational thinking and our rational, and you were saying that, Michael, as well. It's a male energy, and so as you cut the ties with your dad, as you finish everything, there should be a lot more clarity. You are on the right path, but I definitely remember getting that it wasn't time to keep moving with it yet. But I would finish this process at the end of the 3 days and then start to make decisions again. You're in the right career path, though. You are, and that's wonderful to hear because this is what you're to stick with. This is what you're good at. But decisions around it and it being lucrative should come naturally once at the end of these 3 days. And you'll feel that.
You know what's interesting is that now that it's starting to close out here, the cycle of cutting the ties with my dad, is that my confidence level and my clarity around my career has been so high that it almost seems like it shouldn't be right. You know? So,
well,
I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but
no, you are, and that's the perfect description. It's going to take another leap here. Even by the next week, you'll probably be surprised again. But go with it, use it, because this is what you need to do in your career.
And that's what, Susan, you were saying earlier with doing that work. You get confidence and clarity.
Yeah,
if
it's amazing.
Great. That's great to feed into that.
Yeah, so Michael, I'll email you later because
absolutely.
Help me close that out and then
absolutely, and I'm delighted.
Today, That would be awesome. You guys have been so great through this whole thing with me. Thank you.
It's a good day for the gods.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thanks, Sherry.
All right.
Okay,
Bye,
we have Judy in Seattle now as well with a dream. Hi, Judy.
Hi, thanks for talking with me.
Thanks for waiting.
Okay, I had a dream that me and my ex were on a trip. We took trips a lot together, and I had the same feeling I did just before we split up. That I wasn't doing what he expected from our relationship, and we had an argument over socks, and I was having trouble breathing.
And that's the whole dream?
Yeah.
So part of it cut out when you were saying it there. Before you set off on the trip, you said you were having an argument?
Oh, we were arguing over socks, over a pair of socks.
Over socks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was another part I missed. But okay, so dreams about ex-relationships are basically telling you that... How long ago is this relationship?
3 years ago.
3 years. And are you in another relationship now?
No.
Are you looking for another relationship?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay, sort of. So is the sort of because of the way the other relationship went?
I'm just really enjoying my life right now, but at the same time, I would like to share that with someone.
Okay. And how long were you in the last relationship for?
About 10 years.
Oh, okay, so it's a long relationship. Okay. So the dream is really, and there's no surprise, so it's bringing up the feelings of not being able to breathe, and there was another thing you said there as well. What was it?
Yeah, you were talking about you felt like you weren't doing what he expected of you.
Oh, yeah. That was what I couldn't make out.
Yeah. There were things like I started my own business and it failed and things like that. I had some health issues with, I wasn't able to do some work on the boat that we were living on because it caused carpal tunnel. So he was really disappointed in the way things were going.
So so you're arguing over socks. So this is so feet and dreams have to do with how you move forward in life, and being barefoot is the worst in a dream because it's saying that you're not equipped, because we wear shoes unless you're on the beach. So we wear shoes to whatever function we're going to, dancing shoes for dancing, hiking shoes for hiking, and so on. So socks are going to be that way. But I think it's going to be about you pulling yourself up as well. Going with the expression, pull your. But what color were the socks? Was there a color in the socks?
They were blue with blue and like black stripes.
Okay, so what the dream is asking you to do is to have a lighter philosophy of life, and that's an important thing to have before moving forward or as you move forward. So don't move forward and wait for good things to happen so that you lighten up. So it's saying, okay, I love the way you said that you're just enjoying life, enjoying yourself, and then you're happy to share it. And that's the right way to be, of course. But it's saying that you could still be lighter, and lighter, of course, with regard to relationships. So if you were in a relationship for 10 years, think back to that one and think of some of the positive things about it. Because the dream is saying the negative stuff in it, that the negative stuff that came up in the dream is definitely affecting you today. And, you're a candidate for what Susan's talking about earlier, working on forgiveness and letting go, but for it to free you. Maybe you want to say something about that, Susan?
Yeah, that would be the point of forgiveness, right? And in this case, freeing you up to move forward in a relationship or not in a relationship, but in a better place. But
relationship definitely has to be in there too.
Yeah.
And the reason I say negative philosophy of life, so to lighten up, is because blue is about philosophy of life. It's about our inner world. And black is then fear. So it's saying fears that, because it's striped socks, you could even just say fears that stripe your philosophy. So what makes you hold back from things? And when you find yourself holding back from something, look at the past relationship and say, is it anything to do with that? Is that why I'm holding back from this? Or is this why I don't expect this to work? And push through that to get back to the real you, so that you're letting go of the things. I don't know if we're making sense to you, but I hope we are, Judy.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for your call. And
thank you.
Thanks, Judy.
I am looking at the time now, and we aren't going to do any more dreams. So I'm going to say Thanks to our producer and engineer, Eric Ryder. Thanks to Susan Pullen and Heidi Brooke. And thank you for listening, and especially for sending in your dreams. Remember, send them to radioshow@dream-analysis.com and look us up on dream-analysis.com for archives and more. And until next week, we'll leave you with this quote, although I really like the quote you said earlier. Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. And that's from Dennis Kimbrough.